What's up, fight fans? And we are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin. And where do all fights start? Round one. So we have an amazing show for you today. Please don't forget to hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. So, we got a little interesting email today, right? And I'm going to answer your little email. We're going to talk about that, about Terence Crawford, Naoya Inoue. We got a lot of boxing to talk about, Tyson Fury, a lot of big headlines in the boxing world, anything you want to talk about. So tune in, give the videos a like, and like always, let's get right into this video. So, my fans, hey, let me turn that off right there. Just checking the status of the volume. Got to check that out. So, let me set up here real quick before I get into this. Uh, all right, it looks good enough for me. Let's uh, let's get right into this video. How you guys doing out there? Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know that you hear me loud and clear. And let's have boxing and lunch here. Let's talk boxing. Well, little interesting email there today. Huh? My man, listen, got a little, I met a journalist that covers a lot of like the major headlines in boxing today. And we've been going a little back and forth and stuff on a couple ish, things that are going on in boxing and the rules and the WBC and the WBO convention. We've been talking about things like that. So he sends me a little email on a video that I made, and I'm not sure if you're just seeing if I would do my due diligence or journalism on this, because I'm not a journalist, right? But I'm trying to shoot towards that way. That's probably one of the biggest goals I would like to achieve. And so just to answer a little bit of it before I get into some like the Tyson Fury and everything. Um, on this little debate about Naoya Inoue and Terence Crawford and who is actually the best, right? Okay, all right. I'm gonna put it like this, right? I choose no sides. Choose no sides. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna present a case for both men. And I'm gonna let you, the viewer, the fans, decide for yourselves. What do you where is our measuring stick for the best fighter in the world? How do we revere him? Is it because we're a fan? Because we know him more? We know very little of the other guy. Is it that we're in the know? We know both records and we still feel. Which way are you viewing it? Okay. So what he said to me was real interesting, right? The what he wrote me back. What he said was basically, well, look, never mind what he said, right? Why don't we put up records? Like because here around One Sports Talk, all we talk about are facts, right? Okay. Because facts over feelings. Men lie, women lie, meaning anybody can write an article. Anybody, if they're really trying to, they can make that guy look really good, or they can make him look really bad, right? Okay. So rather than doing any of that, right, you put down what they actually did. Just that. Facts over feelings, right? Okay. All right. Let's check this out. This is Terence Bud Crawford. Well, we consider the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. Okay. By many, viewed by many. Okay. His record is 41 fights, 31 knockouts, no losses. Now his division is rich with competition. As you can see here, it says 2,142 fighters, registered fighters. He is currently globally number one. And out of the 2,142 fighters, there are 328 registered American fighters. He is currently number one. Okay. Now, what I would like to mention as we break down his record, you will notice that the WBC world titles are not recognized on box record. So there will be some titles that or some fights, you're going to say, wait a minute, wasn't there a belt in this? And it probably was the WBA. I'm sorry, did I say WBC? It's the WBA. I'm sorry if I messed that up, but let me clear it up. The WBA world titles are the ones that you will not see here. All the other ones, WBC, IBF, WBO, they're all here. They acknowledge all interims, secondary belts, minor belts, etc. Just the WBA, this one, it's not here. Okay, let's move on. So when we think about Terence Crawford, right, and we think about you see right here, this is where the numbers I wanted to highlight at the 2,142 registered globally fighters right there. He has a 75% knockout ratio right there. He started his career in 2008 to current 2024. He debuted 2008, 314. Okay, he's 37 years old. He's 5'8". He has a 74-inch arm reach. That's Mr. Terence Crawford. Now, when we talk about a great fighter and we're comparing him to other fighters' records, because the debate is who is the best fighter in the world? And then some people want to take it by the numbers. Some people want to take it by competition. So we're going to do exactly that. We're going to add all factors into this equation. Okay, let's break it down for ourselves. When he started his career with a 4-round fight. He has, count them with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. His first 10 fights were 4-round fights. Those are just the facts. Okay, which is okay. You want your fighter to get better. So he goes up to a 6-round fight. Another 6-round fight. Another 6. So let's count the 6-round fights. 1, 2, 3, 4. He goes up to an 8-round fight. Wait a minute. You go to a unanimous decision in your first 8-round fight. So what do? Let's go back down to 6-round fights. We're going to get a KO. So back to 6-round fights, another 6-round fight, then back to 8. So what do we got for 6? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6-round fights. So you got 10 4-round fights, 6-round fights. So that's 16 fights right there. So we got his first, give or take first, because he has an 8-round that broke in between one, right? Let's act like that's not there. So just to make things less complicated, his first 16 fights were basically under 6 rounds, right? Without this 8-round fight. So when he steps up in competition, he schedules his 8-round fights, which he had one right here. We have to give him credit for this. So that's 1 8-round fight. That's 2. That's 3 8-round fights. So 16, 17, 18, 19. So that's 19 fights under 8 rounds. He steps up to 10-round fights, which would be his 20th fight, right? 1, 2, 3 10-round fights. And I believe the rest were all 12. Yes, they were. Now, 3 10 round fights, then he stepped up. Okay, so where did his reign start? Terence Crawford's reign for you know, he fought the best fighters, the best fighting, the best type thing. You know, where was the dominance that he fought all these world champions and beat all these top guys? So let's look at what he beat, who he beat. Um, let's look at that, right? Okay, let's wait a minute. Let me get over here for a second. Sorry. All right. So where was his okay, Ricky Byrne was world championship fight, right? That was the 135 championship. That's the first one he won. That's his first belt at 135. We're gonna start right here. So his first belt he won was a 12-round fight, title fight, unanimous decision. He beats him, he becomes champion, right? Okay. From there on, this is where Terence Crawford became Terence Crawford. This is the competition you would have to hold them up to, right? Okay. He came up, what was it? 3 weight divisions? Yuri Gamboa, he came up. Yeah, was it 3 weight divisions that he came up? Hold on. Um 2 divisions above his weight class. He was 2 divisions above his weight class. So this was a way smaller guy, right? Okay, let's think about this. Okay, wait a minute. Objectively. Hold on a second. Okay, Victor Posto. Victor Posto was a champion. Victor Posto was that was a pretty. Uh, he's pretty good. He was pretty good. Felix Diaz. And Dongo. He wasn't really like. Nah, Dongo wasn't really nobody. Um, Jeff Horn. Come on, man. Jeff Horn. He beat man. He didn't even beat Manny Pacquiao. Jose Benavidez, post fight gunshot wound. He came in there with one leg. He got shot in his leg. Come on, man. Are you serious right now? Like, he was a much smaller fighter trying to come up. Kell Brook was past his prime. Sean Porter was past his prime. Although challenging, he only had 10 fights and he went the distance. So we're looking at Terence Crawford fought Sean Porter at the end of his career. Ismail was a razor close fight. Kell Brook, he was washed up. Um, um, Amir Khan was washed up. Ricky Burns was late in his career. Um, Gamboza moved up 2 weight divisions, and Jose Benavidez was shot in the leg. And his best name was Errol Spence Jr. after flipping his Ferrari 100,000 times and never being just being a shell of himself. Those are the best guys he beat. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 12-round fights. He has 19 12-round fights. That's the bulk of Terence Crawford's extensive career. Those are the men that he fought. That's what he's being judged on. There's nobody else there. Where on this list does any name stick out to you? He's fought a few champions, yeah. He's got a couple, and he did some shit. Yes. And let me remind you guys that the WBA titles are not here. So it looks a little empty sometimes. But some of these fights were for WBA World Championships, and they were present on these fights. But it looks like it's like one belt, one belt. I'm explaining that to you guys. Okay. Now, when we look up Mr. Terence Crawford's professional record, like if we look him up on Wikipedia, right? Okay, this is Wikipedia of Terence Crawford. This is Terence Crawford right here. And this is everything. And look how powerful Box Rec and how connected they are with the world of boxing, that when the Wikipedia sends you, the co-affiliation is Box Rec. Everything that Wikipedia backs up, they send you right to Box Rec for your information. So they're trying to say that they validate all this information as credible. Now, this is everything. These are all his listings or how you can look him up. This is his professional boxing career. He has defenses, 19 opponents, 15 by knockouts, and world title fights. So he had 19 world title fights. And in those 19 world title fights, he knocked out 15 of them, right? He had one opponent, 0 by knockout, and super. Okay. So these are his how many times he defended or fought in any division. He had 8 opponents. Like for instance, he hasn't defended the super welterweight title yet. He only had, he won the fight right here is 8 by knockout, 6 by knockout, 3, 1 by knockout. He has a record of 6-4 in lineal title fights. Has a record of 11-7 against former or current world champions. So he fought 11 world champions. Out of the 11 world champions, he knocked out 7 of them. These are the wins against champions right here. These are all the names right here, all 11 of them, right? Um, okay. Sorry about that. Um, First to become undisputed in a 4-belt era at 140. First to become undisputed in a 4-belt era at 147, right? These are all his achievements. These are everything he has done. Now, in his world title fights, these are all his belts right here. Right here. These are all his belts, right? So he first won the WBO, which was the 135, right? He defended that one twice. He has the WBO junior welterweight title. He defended that 6 times. He has the WBC super lightweight title. He defended that 3 times. He has the IBF junior welterweight title. He defended that 0 times. WBA super lightweight super title. He defended that 0 times. WBO welterweight title. He defended that 5 times. That's when he went after Errol Spence Jr. He fought Jeff Horn and he was in the 147 division. He defended that belt 5 times. The remaining of his titles since he beat Errol Spence Jr., he has not defended any of those belts. 0, 0, and 0. So he never defended any of these belts. He never defended any of these belts in the junior welterweight and in the super lightweight. He never defended those belts. You see this? This is his record. And then the undisputed status right here. This is or unifications. This is he had the WBO, the WBC, all 4 belts, all 4 belts. See? The Ringside Magazine titles, the lineal titles, everything. This is his entire career. See? And then his amateur career and so forth. Check him out. That's my man, Terence. That's his record. That's everything he did. Facts over feelings. Right? Okay. Now, if we were to take him, right, and we were to put him against, here, wait a minute. Okay, there it is. And we was to put him against this man, Naoya Inoue. Now, I hope you were taking notes or you got a good memory. If not, you can rewind it and you can write it all down. This is, once you are more familiar with it, it's not going to be hard to figure this out. It's not going to take rocket science, right? Okay. My man got 28 fights, 25 by knockouts. He's number one around the board. Out of 1,369 fighters, he's number one. Japanese fighters registered in that division, he is number one. He has an 89% knockout ratio. He started his debut in 2012 to current date. 31 years old, 5'5, 67-inch arm reach. And he also has a Wikipedia, which we will be getting into. Now, his fights break down as such. Now, we saw that Terence Crawford had 10 4-round fights in his professional career. Naoya Inoue also has a 4-round fight, but he only has one. No, he has no 4-round fights. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Am I so wrong? I saw the number 4 and I just went with it. What's going on here? Because at the back of that it says 8. Huh? He has, I'm sorry. Let's correct this. He has no 4-round fights. He has no 6-round fights. He started his career with an 8-round fight. So Naoya Inoue has no 4-round fights, no 6-round fights. He only has 2 8-round fights, 2 10-round fights, and the rest of his fights from there on are all 12-round fights. If you're talking about competition and a harder level of competition, he doesn't have 10 4-round fights. In fact, he has none. He doesn't have 19 professional fights under 8 rounds. He only has 2 8-round fights. He doesn't have 3 10-round fights. He only has 2 of them. He's coming up against consecutively. Every fight from there on in has been a world title fight. Mind you that the WBA World Championships are not here. In which, in fact, these would have been for WBA World Championships. The Jamie McDonald fight, WBA World Champion should be right there. That's a championship. And then the defense on that one is a championship right here. So WBA title should be right here and right here. Okay? The 22. No, matter of fact, let's count them. Because sometimes I forget to count these. Okay, this shit don't count. Japanese boxing champ, no, that shit don't count. Oriental, although nice prestigious awards coming up, yes, that don't count. You start counting from right here. From right here. That's a real world title championship. And then from there, basically, this is his record. It's cutting dry. You don't really need a lot of breakdown. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh shit. 24. He's coming into his 24th consecutive world title fight. Wow, it's backed up a little. Wow, this is even more impressive. Okay, so he's coming into his 25th consecutive world title fight. In a row. Now, when you look, man, wow. Wow, 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 wow. What can you say? Let's check them out on Wikipedia. Let's see what they saying. Same thing applies to him in correlation. Box Rec is affiliated. They're backing it up, their sources and everything. Check it out, right? Professional record against 21 opponents, 19 knockouts between world championship bouts. It's 21 of them. He's knocked out 19 of them in championship level competition fights. Okay? Out of champions, he fought 15 world champions. He knocked out 13 of them. Look, man. He was the first in history to have 4 belts at 118. He was the first in history in a 4-belt era to have him at 122. And he was the second man to unify all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions. Only to the second to Terence Crawford, right? In a 4-belt era. Mind you, he did this within 1 year. I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you it on Boxing Record. All this that he did, all this first shit, it only took him 1 year to achieve that. I'll show you. Look, this is his amateur career. We don't even want to go there because it gets even more stupider, right? Look. Every time he ventured out of Japan, every single time he ventured out of Japan, he's 4-0 with 4 knockouts. Every time he left Japan, he knocked out everybody. Everywhere he went, he knocked the dude out. No unanimous decision, nothing. Went, and he came back. You win, and flew back to Japan. All 4 fights outside of Japan, KOs. Check it out. Now, what I was saying to you, right, about him achieving all of this right here, he achieved in 1 year. I'll show you. Watch. Okay. Just like Terence Crawford, the clock started ticking from the moment he won the last remaining belt at 140. From the moment he won that one right there, the last one, right, which it was against Undango, right? From the moment he won the last 3 against Errol, how long did it take him to achieve all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions, right? Took Terence Crawford almost 7 years to do that. From the moment he went, because the clock starts ticking from the moment he wins the last one, because he only had 3 up to that point. Okay. So from the moment Naoya Inoue won the last one from who? Paul Butler, right? Let's check it out. Paul Butler is right here. This is Paul Butler. He wins the belt, the last remaining belt, on this date, 2022, 12/13. 12/13, that's the end, December 13th, right? Or 2000, that's the end of the year, right? Okay. 30 days after that, he vacates all 4 belts. He beats Stephen Kubo Fulton and Marlon Tapales, 2020, 12/26. Slightly over a year and a few days. But if we were on the same month, he was still technically on that month. The day after Christmas, he completed it. 1 calendar year. That's it. It's a done deal. The minute he knocks out Marlon Tapales, he has all 4 belts. And from the second he won them at Paul Butler, it's only been 1 year. The years may overlap, but it's still 1 calendar year from December to December. That's it. It took Terence Crawford 7 years to do that. Here are the facts. Here are the facts. It is what it is. How many champions did they fight? That's what you're judged against. How did you do against those champions? How did you do against your competition? And where was your competition at in their career? Naoya Inoue beat healthy current in their prime champions, undefeated fighters as well. Number one, number two guys, champions, 24. He's going on his 24 right now. Again, Sam Goodman, 24 consecutive world title fights. Terence Crawford consecutively, I think he has like uh I think he has like 9 fights or some shit like that, consecutive world title fights. And then there's a break or 5, something like that. Why not guess? We can always check it out. We don't have to guess around here because now that would be guessing, right? Just put them on the screen. That's it. Any answer you want, by golly, it's right there. Let's check it out. You know, he doesn't. You notice that there's no belts, no intros, nothing. Look, in the beginning of his career, no small Pacific Japanese title, like Naoya Wayne got, he wasn't ready for that then. Now he goes the WBO, NABO lightweight. It was vacant. That was a good achievement to, make sure that your fighter is coming along well. This is, and that, mind you, that, there's nothing really to frown upon Terence Crawford's career because technically it is your basic way you bring up your fighter. Not everybody's Superman, you know. Not everybody was more polished coming out of the amateurs, which Naoya Inoue apparently he was more polished. He was ready already by 19 years old. That's pretty impressive. Okay. And in only 6 fights, he fights for his first championship. In only 8 fights, he's already a 2-division world champion. I mean, he's really doing, by 8 fights, he already has 2 divisions. Terence Crawford had 19 fights scheduled under 8 rounds. 19 fights. He wasn't nowhere near thinking about getting a championship belt. While meanwhile, this Japanese dude at 19, 20 years old was climbing up divisions and beating champions that have been in that division for over 10 years, have had titles for over 4, never been knocked out. Like they were laughing when the Naoya Inoue challenged him. You mean to tell me that this Japanese dude with 5 professional fights, it wants to come up and fight me? Listen, look at you watch. Look at this. Check this out. Facts over feelings, guys. Facts over feelings. That's all. That's all this is. Look, here's the evidence. You do what you want with it. Look, facts over feelings. Check it out. Look. Where is he? Okay. Now, this is just what he did. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Adrian Hernandez right here came into that fight 29-2 with 1. 6 hit. Okay, so Naoya Inoue, this is the 6th fight. So Naoya Inoue up into that point only had 5 professional fights. In his 5th professional fight, he was already willing to go 12 rounds. The fight before that, he went 12 rounds. That it's right here. When he challenged him, he had already 29 fights. Adrian Hernandez. Yo, he gets even crazier because Omar Narvaez, look at just 2 more fights. That's 6, 7, 8. His 8th professional fight, he fights Omar Narvaez with 43 fights and 1. The only fighter he ever lost to is the Hall of Famer, Nonito Donaire. And he went 12 rounds with him. Nonito the Flash in his prime could not knock out Omar. He couldn't knock him out. He got the notification that a 5'5", 20-year-old Japanese kid was moving up in weight. Was moving up in weight from 108. He weighed in his last fight 107. He's jumping by a weight division. He's bypassing an entire weight division, the 112, and he's going right to the 115-pound weight division. So he gets the notification that he's 43 fights, champion for 4 years, that a guy with 7 professional fights, jumping up 2 weight divisions, wants to fight him. That's what was at stake. This guy got 7 fights, jumping up 2 weight divisions to fight me. I fought Nonito Donaire. Nonito Donaire could not even knock me out. And they considered him at the time one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. In this era, at this moment, this kid just turned 20 years old. Bro, I swear to God, if you put this little Japanese 20-year-old kid in the ring with me with 7 fights, I'm going to destroy him. Right? Instead, he got destroyed. Matter of fact, out of all his 43 fights and only 1 prestigious loss and being champion over 4 years and never being knocked out in his career, never being knocked out of 43 fights, right? He only lasted 2 rounds against Naoya Inoue. All that, the inexperience of Naoya Inoue only having 7 fights, jumping up 2 weight divisions, him being a dominant champion in that division for over 4 years, there's no way on God's green earth you're going to tell me this Japanese dude is going to come in and just wipe him down. He did exactly that. I don't think people really understand what this dude is doing. The majority of Naoya Inoue's success, he was already a dominant force in the sport of boxing, in his divisions, in his weight classes. And Terence Crawford still had 19 fights and hadn't even gotten up to a 10-round fight. When you're talking about who did it better, if you want to go numbers, we can go numbers. If you want to go belts, we can go belts. However, which way you want to go. I don't see anybody's angle, but this is what I got to say about both fighters. Respectfully. I'm going to tell you what. Although Naoya Inoue's record is impressive, to say the least, okay? Terence Crawford did what he had to do where he was. Now, a lot of people are throwing around crazy fucking names to say that he can solidify his status as the best fighter by fighting, like some of the big top guys now, because he's venturing out into like bigger divisions, right? So they're starting to throw around these names that I really don't think is fair, to tell you the truth. I heard one guy say that he wanted him to fight I'm sorry if I'm messing up your name, brother. Beckerham, Murad. I can't say these names. And then you guys know who I'm trying to say. Please forgive me for that. And then they want him to fight like Jernerbeck, David the Monster Benavidez. I was like, what? And they were like, David Morale. I was like, how the fuck does David Morale solidify Terence Crawford? How? How do you even throw that out there as a name? What has he done that would Terence beats him and would give, I don't even, these names that they're throwing out there that I've heard on some channels, I was like, how the fuck does David Morale get into the conversation? I don't know. And then he's so much bigger. Like, are you guys really want Terence Crawford to lose that bad? That you got to mention the names that they threw out. These guys are now technically 2 divisions bigger than Terence Crawford. Is that how you guys want to beat him? I mean, I could see if they mention people in the division that he's currently in. Let's talk about fighters at 154. Like, hold your horses, Tonto. Okay, just because of the rumor that he wanted to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez, you guys got to put him through a fucking ringer? No, fight this guy, this guy, this guy in order to fight him. Like, prove you can go through the meat grinder type shit. No, Terence, you shouldn't do that. I really don't see Terence Crawford really, right now he's in a funky era, way at a point in his career where he doesn't want to fight the top young guys. He's not really interested on fighting some of the guys higher up, but he wants to fight the king, Saul Canelo Alvarez at 168, because he's the king there. You got to give it to him. And I'm starting to question, could Terence Crawford really solidify his claim as the pound number one? I mean, he went 12 rounds in his last fight with a guy with 10 fights. He never defended any of his four title belt reign. And in some of the divisions, he never even defended the belts. I show you everything he did his entire career. So I feel that, look, respectfully, both men, they did what they had to do in their divisions. I think that every fighter in every situation, you could scrutinize their career. However he got there, you know, um, a lot of scrutiny was the way Devin Haney became undisputed. One fax machine and he beat one guy, George Camboza, to get three. Like, was that really impressive? It doesn't fucking matter, really. He did it. That's what matters, right? Then the second thing that they're gonna frown upon, it was your level of competition and the way you, in fact, that you did do it. They won't be able to take away the fact that you did it, but you're always gonna get scrutiny behind the way you did it. And that's where we're at. What actually did Terence Crawford do? And who did he actually fight? And how were the actual outcomes to his fights? When we're comparing these things, I guess, look, Naoya Inoue did what he did in his division. I give him the much utmost respect. I tip my hat off to a man like that really did it the way he did. He was truly a kid. He had no fear. He put his skills against anyone else. What more could I ask? Terence Crawford came up the way he came up. He needed to get experience. He got it. He got it out the mud. Terence took all those 4-round fights. Why? He needed it. It molded him into the fighter that he is. And I have to admit one thing, that there were a few years in between Terence Crawford's career where he was feeling that he wasn't being marketed or promoted the right way. He could have been a much better champion. And in between all that shit, we had the corona epidemic that also affected all fighters' careers for 2 years. So there are some things that in Terence Crawford's career, although he had these fights, some of these fights, if you break down your history, you're going to notice that some he had to take, some were guys that were calling him out. And he was like, "You're going to call me out? All right, then fine. I'm going to give you what you asked for." Some had things he wanted, belts. And if you had the belt and you were the champion, I don't give a fuck if that was Jeff Horn. If he had a belt, then he was good enough to get that belt. So you're going to have to give him credit for that. So when you look at these men's careers, one thing for sure, in my opinion, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The Naoya Inoue kid is doing it much better. He has achieved much more in a shorter period of time. He's fought more champions. He has a consecutive amount of fights where that he's only fighting world championship fights. He has dared to be great. He put all 4 belts on the line 3 times consecutively. Um, no one is doing that. No one is giving another man an opportunity at 4 belts in one night to give that man, you know, the opportunity of winning everything it took you so long to achieve. You had to go around collecting these belts and beating these men. And this guy on one night, he gets it all. Not many men are daring to do that. They're not daring to stamp your ticket into the Hall of Fame off of my name. Because the way he got there, your name is going to be in correlation with his victory. So, look, I laid it out for you. Facts over feelings. If anybody else can bring anything else. And to tell you the truth, I personally don't put Terence Crawford against Naoya Inoue. Let me keep that 100. I'm merely answering a lot of things about the public. The reason why I don't put Terence Crawford against Naoya Inoue is the obvious. They're not in the same weight division. Terence Crawford is responsible for what? His weight division. Naoya Inoue is responsible for what? His weight division. The Japanese dude has been doing it pretty good in his own weight division, and Terence Crawford has been taking care of business in his. Terence Crawford is all of 37 years old. Bad thing, Father Time's undefeated, and he's not getting any younger. So the fact that he can really raise the bar, he's in a place in his career where politics, promotional companies, and epidemics affected his career. It really did. This is not a secret. Terence Crawford was telling the world, yo, I would have been in better fights. I would have got here a lot quicker had I gotten the fights that I was asking for, or at least I wouldn't have been having such a. It was all over him and Bob Arum were going at each other. Even Bob was saying he was losing money on them. They were lying on each other, and it was just ugly. It was real messy. It was real messy, but you can't ignore that. You can't ignore that. When your own promotional company is shooting you in the foot and not getting you these fights, perhaps he could have been have a much better record. So look, respectfully, me, myself, you know, Naoya Inoue, he just did it better, faster. Um, he should be honored with the #1 pound for pound. He should be recognized by all um, associations as the best fighter in the world. He really should be. Um, Terence Crawford, he has to get active. He's got to fight some big guys. I think the way to do it is not jumping up there and fighting David the Monster Benavidez. That doesn't solidify your spot. No, it doesn't. He doesn't have shit but an interim secondary belt. Him and Morale. Their belts together wouldn't give you a championship. So what does that do for you, Terence Crawford? Nothing. Stay in your lane. Stay at 154. Dominate that division. You become the first to 3. What are they gonna say after that? What could they say after that? He solidifies a third weight division with all 4 belts. What could they say then? Sorry. Although impressive, Terence would have that one on him. You know, although very, very impressive. Yes, very, very. And for Naoya Inoue to do it, oh, he has to go through a gauntlet. Oh, man. Does he have to go through a gauntlet? Yo, he's going to fight Espinoza and both his elbows. So he's going to be fighting both Espinoza's fist and elbow combination. That's a deadly combination right there. Yo, and 6'1", like, damn. And then he would have to go through the very aggressive, powerful Nick Ball. Con, Raymond Flat. Um, I'm not sure if he would just jump over that division. You see, Naoya Inoue, and I brought that up. He's done it before, where he like jumped over one division, but he was much smaller then. It was probably easier for him to do it in the way he was then, because I start to fantasize here, and I'm like, what if he can get just jump over that division and perhaps just go right to the 130 or something because Javante Davis is that much closer to you. Just in case that's his plans, the mega fight. Because we've all been hitting to the fact that, you know, um, you see, Naoya Inoue, right? Some people could say he doesn't need Javante to solidify his career. Uh uh but it would help. I you beat Javante Davis. Okay, yeah, you arguably people what he did with his own career. All right, let's stop judging Javante as one of like the boxing legend things type things. He's not going in that direction. He's told us 100,000 times. Let's just not look at him like that. Let's look at Javante for what he is. He's a prize fighter. Javante's a prize fighter. He fights for money. That's it. He might not fight all the, champion. He's a prize fighter. So we got to judge him as a prize fighter. And he's probably one of the best prize fighters I've ever seen, where he doesn't care about legacy, belts, shit like that. But I bet you what, if you fight him, um, we all know who he is. So if he was to beat a man like that, I'm not gonna say that Naoya would need him to solidify his. No, he wouldn't need Javante Tate Davis. No, he wouldn't. He would already be solidified among the legends of boxing without fighting Javante. Yeah, of course, right? But if you were to fight him and beat him, that would be the cherry right there. Kang. Even though there's already two cherries on the cake, it would be like the cherry on top of the cherry. You know what I'm saying? Because Naoya Inoue's career is stamped, baby. That shit is that's pretty much a done deal, right? So, um, yeah, I think 126. So Terence Crawford can probably pull that off. The more I think about it, probably a bit better than Naoya Inoue, and I think he'll beat Naoya Inoue there again. No matter what Naoya Inoue is doing, he's always doing it behind Terence Crawford of late. Terence Crawford got the upper hand in the first one, and then Naoya went and boom, 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 et cetera, like that. In the first title of having the first man to complete two divisions, all four belts. Terence was the first, so he beat him there. So yeah, yeah. Yeah, and in order for Terence Crawford to do it, he would have to get through Sebastian Fundora, right? And Sebastian Fundora he is still currently the WBO champion, right? They never ended up stripping him, right, guys? Can anybody answer that for me? Matter of fact, let me read y'all messages, all right? Yeah, yeah, they'll hype up their own and downplay the other. I mean, but that's how stuff goes in boxing. We know that as fight fans, like we know that. But look, in comparison to like, you know, championship runs, legacy, titles, shit like that. In comparisons to that, there's no way that Terrence did it better if his title reign fights weren't consistently. Because in boxing, Although you can have a big mega fight, that's still only one name. Terrence Arrow was probably one of the biggest anticipated fights in a long time in America here. Everybody knew about this fight, and everybody that was who's who was there at the fight. That's a big fight. One name, Errol Spence Jr. You know what I'm saying? He's got one fight like that. The Ismail fight was, I guess big in crowd. He had 10 fights. He took the great pound for pound Terence Crawford 12 rounds. Couldn't knock him out. Sean Porter was at the end of his career. Jose got shot in the leg. Errol flipped his car so many times. When you start to break it down, like you're looking at it from the outside and you're going, wow, Amir Khan was who what was he doing? Yuri Gamboa, what, two weight divisions up? And this is the height of it. So I was just like, man, he may he's gotta end his career. And the fucking fact that he's 37 years old, bro. Yo, Bob Arum, this corona shit, fuck my man's career up, man. Terence Crawford was that dude, bro. And you can't deny he didn't have them skills. You can't deny it, bro. I know what his record says. I could read, right? I know, I see what it says, but I remember, man, when he was on camera, man, every day trying to advertise for himself, advocate for himself. Yo, they're not giving me these fights. You can't ignore that. He was like, yo, they're not, man, fuck that. And Barry, I'm gonna sue you. And shit got messy real fast. But we learned a lot. We learned a lot behind the scenes of boxing. And then, although the things turned out the way they are, they walked away. I'm not sure if in a mutual behind the scene agreement was set. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know any of that. But Terrence didn't pursue the lawsuit. Remember, Terrence Crawford left Top Rank and re-signed with Top Rank again. Remember that. Then he left them again. So there was issues going on there for quite some time with him and Bob Arum. So um I just know that the man did what he had to do. He won the fights he needed to fight. He became the fighter he is. I feel like a lot of times in Terence Crawford's careers, there were moments that they should have really recognized him as the fighter that he was, and they didn't. They honored like fighters like Vasily over him, and he was passed up in some awards, Terence Crawford. And I'm not sitting here crying over, trying to like make something for Terence Crawford. No, but the man had an interesting career. And yeah, although I could recognize some things and I'm like, yeah, I see my man what happened here, you know. Um and Naoya Inoue also suffered the corona epidemic too, like all fighters too as well. How much more better could he have been? He didn't have that promotional stalemate problem, and it seems like all the time my American champions always are rocking and they're like so far on top. It's like they knock him off his horse. Like they all seem to every time be when they get bigger than the sport, it's like tragedy happens. Ali was bigger than the sport. What happened was he made it political. Uncle Sam came and said, "You gonna join the army? Yes or not?" Threw him in jail for you, man. They ruined that man's career. All of a sudden, Mike Tyson gets locked up. All of a sudden, like so many of my athletes, it's always something. They never can go through their whole career like, you know, not like this guy, man. Like, what is the difference between us and them? What are we doing so wrong? And I think it's our activities after the ring. I think it's our behavior and how we view ourselves as American. We're so cocky and brash. You know, you have to wear your status on your outside. You got to be like this, bling bling in it every time you go out. You got to be like this. You see how Devin had to adapt the persona that he was Floyd in front of all the young fighters sitting there with the chains on. Yeah, you could be me, boys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is what we pass down to our fighters. What's the difference between us and them? We don't, they're not out crashing their cars, hitting pregnant women, being in gang places where people are getting shot in the head. They're just, I guess, they're not doing that. I guess if we took out that and was more disciplined and focused in the art and respected boxing for the sport it was, you know, but keep a little shit talking. I believe I liked it when HBO first presented the behind the stories of the fighters. Remember when that was like a fucking breakthrough for boxing? It was a milestone, and Floyd did that shit. Believe it or not, Floyd, I remember he was the one that did that shit. Then they was doing like a documentary on Floyd and Oscar was talking about his chickens. And Floyd came out and was like, ain't nobody want to hear nothing about no goddamn chickens. This is America. We love controversy and money. And he's like, yo, that was crazy the way Floyd brought that. He was very smart in his approach of marketing fights, though. I gotta admit, Floyd is the one that did all that shit. Yeah, he did. He brought it to another level, man. Yeah. He was the one that snuck up on Oscar when Oscar was sitting down with the headsets having an interview. Floyd came in, broke in, was like, made him get up, walk away. He's like, yeah, walk away out of his own interview. And we was like, oh, because we knew what Floyd just did. Floyd was stepping to him. Before that, before the Floyd and Oscar fight, right? A lot of people thought that Oscar was too big for Floyd. They were like, he's just too big. He's gonna beat Floyd. Floyd is fast, but Oscar's he cracks too hard. He's gonna, you know. I think it was Michael Buffett. Nah, or the other one. Who was it? Yeah, I think it was or Julie. I think it was Michael Buffett. He said, if I was 50 years younger, Floyd, I'd fuck you up. Nah, Floyd would have fucked him up. Then, any point in his career, he would have never fought with Floyd, right? But anyway, it was cute to say, right? His old man was frazzled because Floyd was arrogant. He was popping. He was talking shit, right? And what he was trying to do in that moment was get Floyd to say that he can beat Oscar. That's all he needed. He was under the Oscar's gonna wipe you down, Floyd. And Floyd was trying to tell them all, go get Oscar. Who you think's gonna whoop my ass? Floyd said, go get him and tell him I'm coming. Tell him I'm coming. Yo, it was crazy. And he got the what he wanted out of Floyd, and then the fight was made and shit. Yeah. Oscar put Floyd through the ringer, I heard. He picked the gloves, he picked the ring, he got the A side, he got more of the money. Floyd said, I don't care about any of that shit. He said, if I win this fight, I'm taking your status. He sure did. I was like, damn. No, that was a crazy moment in time. Ali, overrated? Nah, Ali wasn't overrated. Ali was him. Ali was distracted. That's what Ali was. He was distracted from all the worldly things, all the women throwing themselves at him. You got black movements, put him at the forefront for black pride. And it really did something for the people when they watched them fight and win. It really must have boosted their morale and the fact that we can compete too, and we're here. But Ali got pushed in a corner. They made it political. They made him become a Muslim. Look, Cassius Clay is undefeated. Cassius Clay is the fighter I talk about. Muhammad Ali is the name that everybody knows. That's just the difference. Muhammad Ali got beat. Yes. Muhammad Ali got dropped. Yes. Muhammad Ali's jaw got broken. Yes. By Ken Norton. Yes. Cassius Clay, nobody fucked with Cassius Clay. Nobody. He was just levels above these guys. He understood things about fighting. Fighting laid down to Ali. After the women, the fame, the late nights, that can all get to your head. Lack of training, fighting in your career a bit too long. Those play factors. You watch him, Ali, get knocked out, knocked down, but I hope you notice, even you can tell he's an out of shape shell of himself. Cassius Clay, different animal. Different animal entirely. Just like Floyd. When a lot of people they hear about Floyd, they heard a lot of negative things about him. They saw his tail end of his career. They saw the fight with Manny Pacquiao, this, that, and the third, and they're gonna try to judge Floyd. That's just like saying, right? Kobe Bryant was the closest thing to Michael Jordan. That's bullshit. Why? Okay, he's the closest to Jordan in a different era. You got to understand that I'm not a kid. I actually got to see Michael when he started his career. Kobe Bryant never, ever in his fucking life ever played like Mike in the 80s. When Mike scored 86 against the Celtics, fuck, what? Kobe ain't never in his goddamn life ever played like that. He played like Michael in the 90s. Kobe was the spitting mirror image of Michael in the 90s. If you could put side by side footage, they even move the same. Everything, that turnaround jumper, yo, it was like if you put them under like a black light and you didn't see like their faces, you couldn't tell which one was which. Kobe was fucking the spitting image of Michael in the 90s, like that. Like, well, the closing of the 90s and the like, whatever, right? But Kobe never played like Michael in the 80s. Ferocious Mike, that he was dunking on everybody in the fucking league, that he dunked on Mutombo and went like that to him. That aggressive, no. Nobody played like that. When Floyd was young, he was a monster. He was, oh my God, he was, and then he fucking break his hand. He had to switch up his style and, be more elusive and shit and couldn't get the knockouts. But if God blessed him with Roberto Duran's hands, Floyd, oh my God, would he have been, he, he would have been a fucking monster, bro. With those skills, it was bad enough you couldn't beat him like that. Imagine you gave him two strong hands. Oh my God. He'd have destroyed everybody. It would have been so bad. Yo, he was like one of the first guys I ever realized that had to dull down his fighting style to give the other guys and the fans the allure that you might have a chance to beat him. He literally is like his coach, they're telling Mayweather families, telling them, you're going to have to let them hit you, bro. You can't do what you did to Arturo Gatti every fight. No one's going to fight you. Who the fuck is going to step in the ring with you, Floyd? Stay in the pocket, let them hit you, get a bloody nose, give the impression that they can beat you. Then get the big fights, then shine, Floyd. But if you keep doing that shit right there, Floyd, you're going to be high risk, low reward. Ain't nobody going to fight you. And Floyd was like, man, when he did that to Diego Corrales, when they saw they couldn't even put another weight division, height, reach, undefeated fighter, power puncher, and they set Floyd up for failure, and he did that to him, they were like, did he just beat the fuck out of Diego Corrales? Like, Who the hell was going to sign up to fight that man? It was ridiculous. They were legitimately telling him, yo, Floyd, you got to knock this shit off, or you're just not going to get any fights. You're going to have to let these guys hit you, bro. It was getting ridiculous. And at the end, that's when he already made who he was. And then he just started evading everybody. Now you had to hit him. Now you had to earn to hit him at the end of his career. Yeah, he's evading everybody. And Miguel Cotto was trying. He was like, yo, I thought Miguel Cotto hit him hard a few times. I saw Floyd's eyes go like this, but that motherfucker kept it together, bro. He kept it together, man. He beat the shit out of my champion, man. He did. But Miguel Cotto did what he did. But I think Miguel Cotto was a damaged fighter after what that happened in that vicious. We all know. I don't even want to bring that punk ass dude's name up. He don't deserve nothing from me. I think he cheated. I think his gloves were. I saw the rap when it was breaking, when he was like celebrating the victory against Miguel. I'm not even saying his name. He doesn't deserve for me to say it. So, yeah, but these are interesting moments and things in boxing and shit. And the topic today was really just, how do you guys view it? How do you view the sport? Are you a records guy? Do you acknowledge that someone is actually doing better than your best fighter? But what you can really take confidence in, he's the best in his division, is he's not. He's the best at where he's at. If anybody else got anything to say about your favorite fighter, beat him. Beat him. That's what they're going to have to do. And if you allow that guy to get by his entire career like that, you might not be able to catch him at the tail end if they manage him well. He might get out undefeated. It's like, I'm not sure if any of you guys ever play Hearts online on their little computer Hearts. Sometimes, yeah, where I'll be playing Hearts and shit. When you realize that the person's going to run the table on you and you start like, none of y'all can stop him. And you're like, fuck. And he's running it. He's running it. There's nothing you can do. Some of these fighters put themselves in those kind of situations. Terence Crawford, see, Saul would be in that situation had he not lost. He would have been in that situation. But Terence got there. He got to that dream, that elusive 50-0 undefeated. He's never going to catch Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is never going to catch Mayweather in 50-0, but it doesn't really matter the amount. It just matters that you retired undefeated. And in your time, what did you achieve? Terence Crawford achieved a lot. So by him retiring undefeated, just closes the door on his chapter. And now we tally everything up. See? So he's not going to be able to catch Floyd because he'll need 9 more fights. If he's fighting once a year, that's 9 years to 37. Not happening. Even if he fights 2 times a year, not happening. Even if he fought 3 times a year, he's still not catching Floyd. He fought 3 times a year. That's only 6 fights. He would need an additional three more fights. So for the next 3 years, add 3 years to 37, 40. That's a lot. I don't think he can do that shit. He's not catching Floyd when it comes to that. He's not catching Floyd when it comes to fighting world champions. But Floyd is not in the room with Terence Crawford when it comes to 2 divisions, all 4 belts. Terence Crawford's in a different room. So these athletes can have different accolades, different achievements. That crown that Floyd has, his biggest claim to fame, Floyd, is that he fought all those world champions. I think it was like 23, 24, 25, whatever it was, the amount it was. I thought it was 26 at one time. But I think that one article might have counted them interim fights or some shit, like with Zab Judah or some shit. Because Zab Judah's belt was phony baloney. And so wasn't Shane Mosley's belt. That was phony baloney too. And he didn't even accept them. So I guess if the person saw the belt, it might have counted. So sometimes when I read these articles, I got to chill out. Check this out. Remember that time that I told you that they had said that Takumo was Naoya Inoue's older brother? And remember, I had got it fucked up. Let me show you where I got that from. Hold up. Watch this. Look, this is the box thing, the Wikipedia, all that, right? That where we were at, where his boxing record. They got, although they do got, the number game right. Like they got the amount of fights, who he fought, the names. Yeah, they got all that shit right. But every now and then, even an article can be wrong. And this is what I'm proving, that sometimes some of these top people can write, or ESPN or Wikipedia can write, and they can even have a small mistake. Check it out. Look it. Note. You see where the note say? Older brother. Who? Does that not say older brother right there? Right here. You see where it says note? Older brother Takuna Inoue. Wikipedia is telling me that his brother is older than him, not younger. See? That's a mistake. Isn't he his younger brother? His trainer's his dad. They got that right. They got his dad right. Look at Norton's trainer by his father, Shingo. Older brother. See? That's wrong. So even these simple things sometimes can be, you know, even these people can, have a typo, a mistake, a mispronunciation of a name, like I do sometimes. And I mix up those names. And if you've been with me quite some times, you know that I have a tendency of doing so. But don't take that and be turned off by what I'm saying. If you happen to see that I make a mistake, I'm truly working on that. And just know that I'm talking about that guy rather than being so technical on a minor, you know, fumble of a name or a pronunciation of sorts. You know, um, I bring you facts here at Route One Sports Talk. You know, I'm I'm not trying to hurt anybody's career. This doesn't make either fighter any less or any better than what they once was yesterday. No, they're still the men they were yesterday, and the debate will always carry on. Naoya Inoue must do and must focus on the fighters that he needs to focus on in his weight division. Terence Crawford needs to focus on what he needs to take care of in his. As far as I'm concerned, they are two of the top best fighters we have in the world, and they are both warriors. Both of them, both undefeated, both of them unified, all four belt era in two separate weight division. You know, there are not many fighters besides Usyk that is doing better than them. So I really respect both fighters. I admire what both fighters have done for us in the sport of boxing. The moments, the blood, the action that both fighters have given us to us has not Terence Crawford delivered to us one of the most mega showdowns that we anticipated on getting, even though it came 5 years too late. Still, we got it finally, and mind you, no fault of his own. Terence Crawford, I talked about this, had a lot of things that were like against him. He had to wait for a guy that was healing off a car accident that he did to himself. Had he not done that, we would have got the real version of Arrow. But we'll never know, right? We'll never know. And these are some of the things I talk about. What is the difference between us and them? I believe that our fighters got to start teaching our other fighters, our younger generation, better ways. So that we can see their complete career unfold. You know, the Charlo twins, I thought were going to be and go a lot further than what they went. Boxing didn't beat them. The world beat them. And I'm tired of seeing my guys go down in pitfalls when sometimes it has actually nothing to do with who they were as fighters in the ring. Whose fault is that? Theirs. And whose fault is it for not guiding them? I believe it's ours. If you're close to your favorite fighter and you happen to know them and you love your favorite fighter, help guide them in the right direction. They can't do this on their own, no matter how tough these men and women think they are. Oh, it's me in the ring. No, it's not. It's hundreds of people that loved you. It's those little moments of a person that said something to you during your darkest hours. You never know what these fighters were going through in their lives. But I can guarantee one thing, they didn't do it by themselves and they didn't learn how to become that fighter by themselves. They've had a lot of trainers, mentors, etc. But like I said, if you love your favorite fighter and you want to see him around for a long time, help him in ways and guide him in ways positive. Don't put your arm around him and say, hey, drink this, smoke that, sniff there, go with her. That's that might not work out too good. So listen, fight fans, I'm hyped, I'm amped. We got the Tyson Fury fight coming up. I've had mixed views on this fight, this heavyweight championship fight. Very, very mixed. At one point, I thought that Tyson Fury was blowing up, and I guess it was more beard than anything. But his cheeks did look like they were on top of the beard. So I was like, man. So now he looks even thinner. So I'm looking at him. He's real dialed in. Father Time's undefeated for me. The familiarity of going into a ring with a guy you already shared the ring with, knowing that uh you know him as a fighter. This is round 13 for real. Straight up. I think they're going to take off from there. I think Tyson Fury's going to be a little bit patient. He's going to try to work off of Usyk and what he gives him. I think if he did that, it would be a mistake. I just think that Usyk is quicker on the trigger. He's a bit faster. Um, so Tyson might not want to do that. Going in for a knockout you can get knocked out. We've all seen that, right? Um, I don't know. I'm just interested. I'm very interested on how this fight is gonna play out. And we will see. So join me Saturday. We're gonna have to watch this fight. Wait a minute. Is the time frame off there? This ain't one of those Japan things, is it again? I'll be doing that shit. Better check that out. Not Saturday. It'll be early though. Yeah, so fight fans, listen. Facts over feelings. I hope you enjoyed and got a better look at what these guys are talking about. At the end of the day, I already said it. These men should only be revered as the two top fighters in boxing and two of the most exciting boxers. And this is why you tune in to watch boxers for men and women such as these men that are doing it. We are in a very interesting time in boxing. And as you can see, if I'm debating these two men this passionately, you can see where we are in the sport. The sport is in good hands right now with a lot of young top competition coming up. We have a lot of amazing cards in the future to look forward to, and there's a lot of boxing ahead. There's a lot of moving parts. The Saudi Prince is making his present known in the sport of boxing, and I'm interested to see where a lot of these fights end up. As far as fights, we have a lot in front of us. We're going to be closing out the year and starting the year off with a bang. David Morale and David the Monster Benavides is already locked in, laser focused, and they'll be going much further down the line. Tank Davis is supposed to make in his ring, but in between times, we have enough fights in between and very interesting fighters on cards. I want to see Jose Valenzuela defend that title, and his selection of opponent has been, pretty good. Could Russell finally achieve his dream of becoming a world champion? And this his time to shine? We're gonna see. You know, Demetrius Bivol and Arthur ran it back fast. If there was controversy in ever a man's fight, it was good that he turned around and said, wait a minute, you thought he beat me? Let's run it back right now. Wow, that's pretty impressive. That really speaks to the quality of fighter these two men are, that neither man was willing to back down. One man was saying that he feels like he was cheated. The other man turned around and said, say what? You feel like what? I'll fight you again. The other guy turned around and said, well, then if you're so tough, fight me let's make a quick turnaround. And the other guy said, I call you on your bluff. Game on. And now neither guy wants to back down. I think that's beautiful for the sport, man. So that'll be great. In between times, there are gonna be a lot of fights announced, and there are gonna be some we're gonna get some answers to some of our questions after Naoya Inoue gets out of this fight with Sam Goodman. Shall shall he be successful? We're gonna know more or less what his future plans are gonna be, and is this a pissing contest between Marlon Tapales and Naoya Inoue? Because as we all know, it's not on the fighters. It's not like Naoya Inoue is scared of MJ in any way, so it's obviously not him. You know, this is obviously a promotional thing that they're gonna have to get, you know, situated. Naoya Inoue tweeted, "Bro, just get in line. I'm gonna whoop your ass the same." Yo, I found that comical. He didn't say it in those exact words. I added my own, but more or less that's what he said, right? So, um, where he goes from here with every one of his fights. For one, I want to see him actually fight. I love when he enters the ring. I want to see him fight. He's one of my favorite fighters. I would love more activity from Mr. Terence Crawford or where his future lies. But a lot of these things are soon going to play out, and it's interesting leading up into the months and weeks of boxing that we're looking forward ahead. So please stay with me here at Round One Sports Talk. I always, I bring you the latest in boxing news, and any boxers that you guys would like to talk about. I'm always telling you guys, feel free, comment in the comment section. Talk to me about fights. Talk to me about what you wanted me to see. You want me to break down a particular fighter? Let me know. Let me know what you were interested on watching, and we can break it down together. So, fight fans, listen, guys, you guys are amazing. Usyk, what are you guys saying here right here? Jay Will, Usyk is going to be 2024 Fighter of the Year and possibly Fighter of the Year. There's a possibility that that can happen. There were some bang out fights though. There were some pretty good fights. You got to remember Bam Bam Rodriguez. That fight was pretty good. He was dropped in that fight. Naoya Inoue has a couple honorable mentions in 2024, but their competition fighting against him wasn't that good. So he could probably be with the Luis Pantera Nari knockout of the year. Naoya Inoue is going to put him on a monitor against other four knockouts, and they're going to keep showing that. So he did put him on a monitor. I think he's going to get elected. I'm not sure if he'll win for knockout of the year. I think that Leo, well, yeah, that was a vicious knockout. One shot punch. Boop! He knocked him out. Lopez, man. Oh, we just watched the Jaime Munguia knockout. Although he's not a big star, that was a one punch quitter right there. So those now fight of the year. What other Anthony Joshua and Dubois. A lot of people thought Dubois Anthony Joshua was gonna beat Dubois. and then he was going to expose him for the fight he wasn't. That was a pretty good fight. We had some pretty good underdogs win. I think Jaime Munguia gave my man the underdog. Yo, we got to go back and look at a lot of these fights that kicked off in 2024. Um, Caleb Plant, right? Didn't they fight? What was that? Was that in 23 or 24? David the Monster Benavides and Caleb Plant. When was that fight again? Um, wow, I'm having a hard time remembering all the fights of this 2024 right now. I'm like drawing a blank. I got too many fights inside of my head, I guess. Uh the Terence Crawford is not gonna be in there. He got that one fight in 2024 against Ishmael. Not Tank Davis could possibly be in there for like knockout of the year. Um he knocked the shit out of Frank the Ghost Martin. Who got there was a lot of fighters that lost that I was like, be prepared to see your favorite fighter lose, right? So there was a lot. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go back. I gotta break down some of these things. I got just too much boxing in my head. I really do. I got like so much. So yeah. 2023 Plant. Yeah. Okay. That was a good fight. Virgil got dropped twice. You know what I'm saying? But the outcome of the fight, people didn't believe that the right person won. Had the other guy won, it would be like fight of the year type shit. But when you got controversy on the back of your fight, there was no definitive winner all around. You know, when you get fighter of the year, typically the guy that won, or there's sometimes they're close. Sometimes they're real close, but not like that controversy. You when you look at a fighter of the year candidate, you can legitimately say, okay, yeah, we could have went either way. Like Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury. When they fought, I thought Francis Ngannou pulled that off, right? I mean, that shit was like this, right? So, but you got to admit, it could have went either way. I could see where Tyson Fury won that fight. He didn't close the Francis didn't close it in the last championship rounds there. He didn't have that championship experience and he lost those rounds. He gave them away. And I was like, yeah, he did. He really did. Had Francis just given him a good 1-2, ta-dang, he becomes the champion, bro. It was that close. So, when you're looking at fights like that, but Junto Nakatoni fought too. Um, damn, there was so many good fights. Navarrete's fight, nah, none of those guys are gonna get fight of the year. None of those guys are getting knockouts. Um, I know I'm missing so many fights right now, but I'm trying to get my brain to work. It's just not kicking on right now. It's like the lawnmower that you're pulling the string. You're going like I just can't see these fights right now for 2024 in my head. But anyway, good, interesting thing. It would be interesting to see the awards and who actually wins. And it's good when some of these awards give you acknowledgement. It kind of gives you that pat on the back that you may need to, this is what I'm doing in my career. And it's good that people acknowledge or honor you for the fighter you are. There could be no better reason, feeling in that. A lot of people are like, who's giving out the awards? Is it ESPN? Is it these? Is it the SB? All that stuff. And I guess it's up to that. But an award's an award, and you can look back at it in your life and your career and say, "Look, son, this is what I achieved, no matter what." So yes, listen, fight fans, it's been amazing. Love talking to you guys. I thought he won. Yeah, yeah. Dubois might be fight of the year. Um, Yeah, yeah, yeah. Honorable mentions. There are a lot they're gonna go sort through. There are a lot of fights they're gonna go sort through, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of fights, Jay Will, that you might not remember neither. And as soon as they broke that, you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that fight," and "Oh yeah, that one," and they're gonna come in. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who gets what fight of the year, knockout of the year. There are a lot of good candidates, and I know one thing for sure: Jaime Munguia let that boy right through the front door. So, fight fans, love yourself. Get these holiday shopping out of the way. I'm trying to. I'm doing these episodes off weird times and stuff. I understand because I gotta take it like I get it, the time I can to get out and do this shopping. So in between times, I'll come in and we can talk boxing. So fight fans, from me to you guys, happy holidays. Don't forget to give these videos a like. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace.